悪霊退散。
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to talk about a situation that's happening and I think it needs attention. It revolves around the legendary commentator Spaghetti Rip. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm not on the best terms with Spaghetti Rip. Back when Tekken 8 first was being promoted to the players, they had a couple of leaks. And me just being someone who loves Tekken 8 and just like kind of just a player of the game. And also I really don't view leaks too egregious unless it's for like a TV show or a movie. Video games, I'm like, who cares? So I was retweeting those leaks, resharing it, just having a good time. But there was a lot of people out there who really did not like that. Some of those people even have me blocked on Twitter till this very day. One of the people who was very upset about that whole situation was Spaghetti Rip. He made multiple tweets kind of taking shots at me. For me, that was the first realization that not everyone liked leaks, and then that kind of made me behave a little bit differently when resharing them. The reason why I give you guys context to that situation is because you see how hard he was going in defense of Tekken 8 and defending, their reveals, their product, their game. When Season 2 happened and it was like review bombed into the dirt, players were like really going hard. People were boycotting the game. Spaghetti Rip once again stepped in the fire and was saying, everyone who's boycotting the game, you guys are all ridiculous. You guys are going too far. You're going too hard. This is unacceptable. Now, even though at the time I was calling him a shield and a lot of people was also calling him a shield, it's still just once again evidence of how much he cares about the game, how much he cares about the developers, and how hard he was willing to fight for it. He was willing to step in front of the fury that the players had for Season 2 to defend the developers, and that's admirable. Now, the tragic thing about all of this is that he, at the same time while was defending the developers, he was still critical of Tekken 8. And another commentator by the name of Rip, aka Level Up Your Game, was doing the same thing. Both of those guys are very legacy players. They love their characters. They love the franchise. So when they seen it going a little bit too far, they were just giving their feedback. From the tweets that I've seen, they never crossed the line. They never said anything too egregious. It was just good old fashioned feedback, something that the developers said time and time again that they want. Now, unless something else happened, and there could have been something else that happened, we honestly don't know because the developers never acknowledged the situation. But when that situation happened, the developers basically kicked both of those guys off of the commentary team. Two legendary voices, two legendary personalities. If you've been wondering why they are gone, if you've watched the Tekken World Tour and you were wondering why you see all the new faces, it's because Bandai Namco excluded these two guys. Now, they did so without reason, without explanation, and you do see them pop up from time to time when they're doing a tournament. Maybe EWC or one of these other tournaments outside the Tekken World Tour will hire them. That's good. But when you talk about how these guys been commentating for years, when you take away their income for a whole year, you kind of leave them up in limbo. I've seen multiple tweets from Spaghetti Rip throughout the year where he was saying, like, if things doesn't go a better direction, I'm going to have to try to move somewhere else, do something else, do this, do that. For Rip, Level Up Your Game, and you see that he started working with the people who make Invincible Versus. Tekken 8 pushed them out, forced them out, and now they're trying to find new ways to succeed. The reason why I'm bringing this situation up is because you have this thread of tweets, and I'm going to read it here. Spaghetti Rip says, I'm going to need the Pakistan government to lock in and help the players travel in 2026 for Tekken. We know that the Pakistani players have a lot of visa issues, and also we know that the Pakistani players are very famous in the world of Pakistan. So maybe there's some strings that could be pulled within the Pakistani government, or maybe in Japan, maybe in America, maybe in EU, to allow that, to facilitate that. Regardless, someone says, semi-related, if Season 3 is good, can you restart the NA-EU beef that was happening at the end of Season 1? Season 2 was so trash on release, everyone forgot about it. And that is true. There was this huge beef stirring up between NA and EU, and Season 1 literally killed it. This was also riding off the heels of Pakistan versus Korea, which a lot of people were invested in, and then once again Season 2 kind of killed it. Season 3, with balance seeming to be restored to the game, it can revitalize it. Now, Spaghetti Rip responds to this and says, I've been blacklisted / banned from official Bandai Namco events without explanations. That one sentence is crazy, bro. It's kind of wild that they can even do this. Like, how is that even legal? For people who have real jobs, when your job lets you go, they gotta give you a reason. The fact that Bandai Namco could just cut off like legacy commentators with no explanation, that's horrific. Bandai Namco is a terrible company for the way that they treat their commentators. Just a little while ago, I was covering the story how Eris has been commentating for free for 10 years. And then once he finally realized that he could get paid and he asked to be paid, they told him no. Harada tried to come out of pocket and pay him to show his personal appreciation. But you can see Bandai Namco, the corporation, they could care less. And then also, since this is a esports type of situation, the person who is in charge of all of this is Yasuda. Yasuda Esports needs to step up and do the right thing and communicate with these guys as to what the issue is. It doesn't have to be public, but it should be at least private. Show some respect to these guys. Yikes. But let's keep going with the tweet. Believe me when I say I still want to do many things for our community, but unless my relationship with the company is somewhat stable, I cannot continue dedicating my life to creating these events. That's the thing, right? The players sacrifice so much and then the company kind of don't really care about it. They'll just walk all over you. Blasted says this is another legendary content creator who kind of took a step back after Tekken 7 went down the drain and the Tekken 8 just completely like clogged it up basically. Blasted says, well, this hits home. I feel Spaghetti Rip, but unfortunately this kind of thing is pretty standard. He continues by saying, years ago I ran a Tekken podcast and eventually realized people were being quietly discouraged from appearing. Nobody ever said anything to me directly and reaching out went nowhere. It wasn't dramatic, just uncomfortable. A similar thing is happening right now with Tekken 8 where people like the Moonsault Slayer and other maybe, quote unquote controversial figures, we are excluded. We are exiled. There's private discords that exist that holds notable Tekken figures, and then people in those discords say, don't talk to this guy, don't interact with this guy, don't like a tweet, don't retweet a tweet, don't respond to a tweet, don't comment on a video, don't do nothing. And all of those people follow suit, unless if you don't follow suit, you'll be kicked out as well. We are trying to change that. There's a lot of content creators who's been pushed out, a lot of pro players who's been pushed out, but sooner rather than later, you realize you push so many people out of the circle, you realize that you're the only one in there, or you and a couple other people, and everyone else is on the outside having a very good time. Blast Islami says, I don't think this is unique to Tekken or even games. A lot of entertainment spaces run on high school politics, access, backtalk, fragile egos. If you step out of line, you're not argued with, you're just quietly frozen out. For people who've invested a lot of time into a scene, that kind of thing kills motivation. There's a lot of Tekken politics, bro. There's a lot of Tekken politics. And I wasn't aware to how much of it existed, but I see it now. When I see these random content creators or pro players or whoever it may be take shots at me and they're all kind of like doing it at the same time, or they're all kind of like doing it at a particular time, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is. I see it now. I understand. Before I didn't, but now I do. But you can see, like I said, Spaghetti Rip was on the inside. Blasted Slimy was at one point on the inside. Before I was making my way up, I could have been on the inside, but they just continue pushing people out. And I mean, it's not going to hurt it's not going to help the game. It's going to just further cause division because a lot of those guys also sneak this, and it's crazy. And then if someone responds to that sneak this, now all of a sudden there's this huge drama. You have a lot of people getting upset. It's chaos. This kind of behavior, it needs to be stopped. And I also think Bandai Namco needs to be more clear and upfront when they're handling their commentators. Commentators is different. Pro players is different. Content creators is different. Once you start passing them money, I feel like there should be a certain level of communication there.